Welcome back. This time we'll be tackling Duff McWhalen stage. Duff McWhalen is sort of like a long boss rush. His stage, essentially you have to fight 3 mini bosses and then the boss himself. There's a lot of things that are cool about Duff McWhalen stage, especially if you've played earlier X games. Number 1, his stage theme is a remix of the Megaman X2, what is his name? Bubble Crab stage. It also does have a fish mini boss, a fish submarine mini boss like enemy. Except in Bubble Crabs, most of the time he's probably not going to last until the end of the stage. Now for the first phase of this fight, there are pretty much only 2 attacks that he's got for you. Well, 3. He's essentially just going to chase you and fire little energy spheres out of little orange nubs that you see sticking out from the sub's lips. That's kind of creepy. But anyway, he will also fire out enemies from his mouth that comes from the cannon. The cannon will gain another attack as we get further into the stage, but it's still fairly easy to dodge. If I can not have any more fails. He will every once in a while shoot a Reploid out of his mouth. You'll want to save them because number 1, they heal you. Number 2, they will give you an extra life, which I kind of desperately need at this point. And as I said that, these starfishes you cannot destroy, or these starfish. You can also fire at him to push him back. It's not extremely useful, but it does have its uses. If you push him back far enough, you don't have to worry about being touched by him when he starts firing again. It's just a straight shot, just jump on top. This game will exercise your thumbs. Those spikes down there are instant death, just avoid them. You can use them to your advantage if you are in the Gaia armor. Now comes up the actual fight. With the nubs destroyed, this fight becomes a lot easier. If you're in the ultimate armor, this fight's practically non-existent. Now the Gaia armor also has an advantage over this as well. You do not have to jump and fire as the Gaia armor. But as I was saying with the ultimate armor before, the upside to the ultimate armor is instead of having the 1 plasma sphere limitation that this armor has, it actually has a 3 limitation. Meaning if he fires enemies out of his mouth before you get to fire your shot, it'll make another plasma ball, which will continuously destroy the enemy while continuously damaging the sub. The Gaia armor, you can just stand in front of it and shoot. The power blast is large enough for you to be able to hit without having to jump. This is the second phase. Unlike the first phase, you cannot destroy the back part of the fin that holds the little missile launchers. Well, you cannot destroy them until you actually fight this boss instead of just distracting them. This part's a little bit easier because you can destroy the shots that come at you, and also they aren't aimed directly at you. They shoot straight out and then they should go up or down depending on your relation to the height of the shot. I normally fail at this section, but maybe it's the recording curse. parts I'm terrible at, bad at the parts that I'm good at. Never mind. Almost. So just pretty much alternate your shots. You'll end up destroying one of them eventually, and just concentrate on it. Now, I didn't mention where the heart tank was in the first stage, Grizzly Slasher stage. I'll mention where it is here. We'll be going back for it. There's a way to get up there. I cannot remember which special weapon you have to use to get up there, but it's infinitely easier with the Gaia armor because you can't just kill by spikes. But what you would do is you climb up there with the Gaia armor, and as you travel to the left, you'll see the heart tank. This Falcon armor piece, we also cannot get yet. We actually have to have Duff McWhalen's weapon get it. Since I won't be wasting time, I will show you how to get it soon after this stage. This is the third and the final phase of the submarine. He's fairly easy. Just dodge, duck, and fire. Make sure you're not trapped between the sub and those blocks. If you do get trapped, they are instant death, so be careful. If you get trapped, it's like being crushed. Damage. Now, the unfairness to this particular portion is the fact that the spheres can go through the ground. However, it's rather easy. Now we open up the boss. The part that's been damaged is actually behind that shield. Make sure you don't touch it. If you do, it will hurt you. Now he is weak to Grizzly Slasher's weapon. The weapon shoots an attack ahead of you, either straight ahead, up at a 15-degree angle, or down at a 15-degree angle from your weapon. It's slightly unreliable, so I would recommend being right on top of Duff McWhalen when you fire it, which is actually useful for a couple more things. Duff McWhalen's weapon doesn't really damage you. It can push you up against the wall or up against the spikes, and it does hurt seriously. I want to say it takes about 3 to 4 hits for it to kill you. If you're on top of him, you can keep him stunned long enough to do enough damage so that he won't be able to push you into the spikes. See? X. Y. That's it. So just fire. Okay, reset his position and fire the at you again. He does fire in a normal pattern it's like a V going up and then back down. So, and upside down. As opposed to a second phase, which is starting now. He's going to switch sides on me. When he switches sides, he will shoot 3 fast-moving blocks that will try to push you into those spikes. What you can do is you can trick the AI by jumping and then firing as you land. Most likely he'll miss. Or you can just tank the hits if you haven't taken that much damage. That's the end of Duff McWhalen stage. Or is it? No, because we actually have to fight Dynamo still as well. And I'm going way too slow. Now this is the first instance of choice, choosing what you want. Weapons of life is going to be your better option for X. If you're playing 0, you want weapons and energy. Now, as I said before, after the second and the 6th stage, you're going to be fighting Dynamo. Even if the space colony is destroyed, you still have to fight Dynamo after the 6th stage. It's a force situation. You can't pick any other boss. You can modify yourself if you like. You cannot fire the Enigma shot. You have to fight Dynamo. As I said before, it's possible to get through the game without fighting Dynamo. You need to fire the Enigma shot and the space shuttle and then go straight to the final stages. This is also the only X game that I can remember where you can fight the final boss without having fought all 8 bosses. But I cannot remember. Because Command Mission I played when I got my first PS2, so I don't remember that clearly. X7 I try to force myself to forget. And X8, I don't think you could jump ahead, but I think it might be possible. I'm not sure. But anyway, after the 2nd stage, Dynamo only has 2 attacks. Now there's a slight difference between X's dialogue and Zero's dialogue. X says that he doesn't want to fight to the death, and Dynamo says, I may actually kill you anyway. With Zero actually does want to fight to the death with Dynamo, if I remember correctly. Anyway, he'll either throw his sword at you, he'll try to block incoming shots, and he'll jump at you and he'll slash. The jump and slash is fairly easy to dodge. Your plasma spheres won't do any damage to you in this stage. So basically it's mainly the full charge shot. You can actually come through here without having an armor at all. I don't actually know if there's a weapon that he's weak against. I don't really see a point in trying because it's fairly easy to fight anyway. The second time you fight him, he's a little bit more annoying, but he's still rather easy. And taking unnecessary damage. And that's Dynamo. Next up, Squid Adler stage. I forgot where I was going for a second.